Hey, what's up, everybody? So the prices are still correcting. Nothing too much going on here. Looking at ICP, it seems like you got this three-way move up, and it looks like you're working a three-way move down. So once this move here finishes, I would imagine we would level off and come back to the upside. If not, and let's say we break down, then we know that this is a fourth wave. One, two, three, four, five. So it could be a fourth wave. And if it is, and we do break to the downside and we get bullish divergence, then at that point, the low for sure, I mean, statistically speaking, would definitely be in, right? So, I mean, you can't ever say definitely, but it's more than likely to be in, right? Because when you're moving down and you only have three waves up, right, you have to have the expectation that, well, this could come down for a fifth wave. But if this started out with five waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it was big, it was bigger than the wave 2, proportional, then you would look for a three-way pullback and then a continuation. You wouldn't look for it to break down. It would not break down from there. So you're kind of in this limbo. You have bullish divergence here. You're kind of creating a base. So you're just going to have to give it time to see how it plays out. But ultimately, the ultimate big idea is regardless of how it plays, right? So, regardless of how it plays, we should get back into these retracement levels. That's exactly what I'm believing here, is we're going to get back into those levels at some point. Now, do we do that like 3 up, 3 down, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, and then, kind of play around and get up there? Or do we have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then get back up there? Regardless, we should get back up there. Why should we get back up there? Because when you zoom out, this is a bigger structure here, right? I mean, you have a complete move down, right? I think you have divergence here. Yeah, you do. You have divergence there. It probably is stronger on. Oh yeah, look at that. You have triple. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So the low's in from this point, right? But divergences can be taken out. But the point is, now we look at where we're at today, and you could see also bullish divergence from here to here. So pretty big deal, right? But even not just that, but another reason why I'm convinced that we're going back up here, regardless of what it does down here, is because you have this big impulse and you have a three-wave pullback. It is a textbook play. It is like the most. It's perfect, right? You couldn't get any better than that. But the question is the third leg finish? That's the big question. Now, some charts, it looks like it is. Other charts, like this one, maybe not so much, right? Because is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Is that the third? So you have 1, 2, all of that's 3, and then this is 4, and that's 5. It could be, Or you can say 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5. And that's okay too. So, and then also if you use a trend-based fib extension, did we make it to the 1-to-1 yet? This can kind of give you a little bit of an indication as well. Or not the 1-to-1. Yeah, the 1-to-1 is like negative, so that's not going to happen. Okay, so we did hit the 1-to-1. We perfectly nailed it. This is perfect, right? So we hit the 1-to-1, and yeah, so we're good. I think. We come down and break it a little bit and then come back up? Of course. So that's pretty much it for ICP. And when I say ICP, I mean basically everything, right? So let's take a look at Ethereum. I haven't looked at Ethereum. So Ethereum looks bearish. Ethereum looks like it needs a pullback, potentially. I'll have to zoom in and look a little bit closely. But, I mean, you can see, like, you had this three-wave pullback. You immediately shot up, but you didn't get away from the scene of the crime, right? And where is the crime scene? The crime is this. That's a bloody massacre, right? So you got to get away from that and then go up. Because when you have a crime and then you go way up immediately, most of the time you drizzle back down before climbing back up. So let's look closely. So it looks bullish, though. It's still bullish overall, but I think we'll look at that in a second. But I think we may need a bit of a correction here. But when I look closely, let's take a look at this, because this is really where it's at right here. So it looks like you have 3 waves down, you have 3 waves up, and it looks like you're going to get 3 waves back down. Or this could be 5 waves back down. So we don't know if it's going to be 3 or 5. We'll see. But essentially what that is you have a W, an X, and a Y. So, and from there, you have 3 down, you have 3 up, and you have 3 back down. And then we go up. So you're looking at some downside potentially coming soon. So that's one way we can count it. Another way we can count it is, well, no matter what, that's 3. So it could be that you have 3 down, and then this is a 5-wave move, and it's finished. And now this is a wave 1, and you have a 3-wave pullback, and you're going to go up from there. But I don't like that a lot, because you have this 3-wave move up, so it wouldn't really make sense to get another 3-wave move up. But if it's in a different degree, for example, this can kind of come up like that, right? And then come down, right? So you have 5, and then you have 3 for your A. You have 5, and then you come up for 3. 1, 2. We still haven't went up for 3 yet for B. And then we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C. And that's your Y. So that whole thing is a Y. So you have W, X, and then your Y. So that's another idea. And I like that idea a lot, because it explains, it gives us a little bit of a fake out here, So because when we look closely at this, maybe not so much. It looks a little bearish, but essentially, you have 3 down, okay? You have 3 up, okay? And you have 3 back down, okay? So you have a big wave 1, and you have a 3-wave pullback. So that's bullish. Remember, this is the 15-minute chart, so don't get too excited. So if this comes up, that could be your B wave before we come back down again, right? So it's all about navigating through the waters. And that's why hopefully you hit the subscribe button. I try to come out with as many updates as I can, to explain exactly what the risks are, what the probabilities are, how it's looking, things like that. You know, it's not ever a for sure thing. It never is, but at least it gives us a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of understanding of where we are based on the wave structure, right? Because a lot of people, they have millions of things on their charts, you know what I mean? They have all these things on their charts, and it's like they have lines, they have lines going this way, lines going this way, lines going up. It's like, what the hell am I looking at, you know? So I like naked. I like my charts like I like my, never mind, I'm not gonna say it. I like it naked, okay? Because it's just better to it's really based on the wave structure more than anything, right? So anyway, that's Ethereum. Is there anything sequential wise? Well, first of all, we are back above the bull market support band. That's really, really good. We have a cross. That's also good. We're crossing back, hopefully back to the upside like that. So if this is a correction that has to come back down and retag that again, you know, like a flat like this before we continue up, then hey, let's go. Let's go. But in order to figure that, what's the sequential? So look at that. We had a daily 9 up there. You have the red dots, pretty common. So, all right, so let's get rid of that. Let's go to Bitcoin now. And then we'll look at XRP. We're going to look at Theta. And we'll maybe a few more. So Bitcoin, really nothing there too much. You know, Bitcoin, the bull market support band is about to have a cross. That's pretty good, right? Because we had this spill here, and then we crossed over. The green came down, right? Actually, yeah. So you want the green on top and the red on the bottom. So right now the green's on the bottom, but it's about to go and cross. So it seems. So when you get that cross, sometimes you can get a rally, you know, but that's more so the golden cross, not necessarily the bull market support band. But let me just extend this out a little bit like that. Okay, so that gives us a visualization of where we could land, you know, and then I'm going to draw another zone, probably right here. I'm going to look left. I want to make it, there we go. That's pretty much dead center, you know, of the breakdown, right? You see how we had this descending triangle here and volatility slowed down, and then we had the drop, right? That's basically the spot. Now we can also add a Fibonacci level, and look at that. It all intersects, right? So we have the bull market support band, we have the zone here, and we have the Fibonacci, the most important ones, 618702, right? So even that is too many lines for me. So there we go. So are we going to go back down there? I don't think we have to go all the way back down there. I mean, because really that's sub 100K. I'd like to see us stay above 100K or maybe 98, 99K at the most to make people feel like, oh, I got a good deal. I got it for under 100K, you know, like it really means anything. Unless you're spending millions of dollars, and of course it will. But, you know, for the majority of us, it's not going to make a bit of difference. But, all right, so we basically got it figured out. Let's zoom in. Look at that. We're on a 6-hour 9. Okay, yeah, so we're on a 6-hour 9. So what do we have, guys? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Do we have bullish divergence yet? So we're starting to get bullish divergence on the 6-hour, but you know, it's not confirmed yet. I mean, this can still go down lower. We don't know. right? It would make sense, but let's look at the 4-hour real quick. So you had a 4-hour 9. Let's get rid of that. So if we just look at the wave structure here, I'm gonna also take a fib level from the bottom all the way to the top. And you can see we're resting right at the 236. But if you look at the 50 and the 382, that kind of is where the bull market support band is. So that's good to know. But essentially what we're looking at here is a correction, right? Because why? Because you had this expanded flat, all right? And then you had 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, right? So this is a 5-wave move, right? And now you're starting to flag out. Now, if that flag can break us out of there, but I don't think it's big enough, right? Because remember, we used the trend-based time extension over here, and this gives us an idea of where the time should be for this wave to end. So if I go right about there and I double click it, you can see we're not even to the first fib level yet. So what I would do then is I would take that and get rid of it, and let's put another one right about there. Okay, and let's do blue right there. So that's kind of where I'm expecting the price to go, and that intersects with, you know, the 50 actually and the 786. Actually, let me shorten it a little bit right there, and maybe let's change the color. There we go. So we don't need that anymore. So that's kind of like my target, honestly. But I just don't know if it's going to get there on this wave, right? Because what are we looking for? Well, if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we would expect this to go up in 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for C, right? So boom, boom, and then boom, right? And then when we zoom out, and then we take something like this, right? There we go. So expecting it to flag out, right? Obviously, I mean, we already know this. We've talked about this long before, right? Even when we started breaking out of here. So typically, if you get a 5-wave move down, which it looks like we're getting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would be an A. Then we would go up in 3, let's get a B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for C. The big question I have, though, is what happens to the altcoins when we get the B wave, when we get that retracement? Because I have a feeling some of the altcoins are going to break out. So let's take a look at something here. Maybe not H bar. H bar looks a little sad. Yeah, it doesn't look so hot, does it? Because at first, you know, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then you have this one, you have the 3-way pullback. We want to look for a 3-way pullback, right? We have a wave 1, we want a 3-wave pullback. So let's get rid of that. So do we have a 3-wave pullback? Well, it's starting to look like you could say it's 5. Well, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's an A. Come up. There's your B. And then what if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for C? That's probably what we're getting here, right? So we have all of this as your wave 1. And a lot of times, I would say a lot of times, a wave 2 has to come way down, all the way down back to where wave 1 started, right? So if this is a wave 1, a lot of times wave 2 has to come way down here just to finish, right? before it comes back up, and it creates that double bottom effect, right? I mean, you can see it right here, right? Boom, boom, right? And then it even broke the low later on. You can see it. Oh, this is a very good example right here. This is probably one of the best. So you saw you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had a diag, and look what happened. You came all the way back down, basically to the bottom, before you rampaged to the upside. So what I can actually do, just for fun, is just take a bars pattern here, just for fun. It's probably not going to line up exactly, but just from a structure or just from a look perspective, the way it looks, right? This double bottom here, you'd have to probably blow it up too big. There we go. I mean, it's actually honestly better than I thought it would be. But yeah, you can kind of see what I'm talking about here, right? So if I kind of heighten it up a little bit, you know, you have that little move up and then a slam down, right? And then this move up, and then trickle, trickle, trickle down, trickle, trickle, trickle down, right? Yeah, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 diag, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 diag. It's actually really good, right? And then you kind of have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, which is I would imagine it's more of an A, B, C, A, B, and then C. Gets you way the hell down there, and then you pop up, and then just fly to the moon. So, yeah, I think it's cool. I think that's a solid idea. So, we should expect more maybe not a lot of downside, but again, like I said in the previous video, this is dollar cost averaging territory, right? I stabbed a couple longs, but I had to get rid of them. You know, I had profit, but, you know, there was nothing for me to hold on to, right? I'm looking for a trade where I can buy and I can hold all the way up, at least to the retrace levels. So let's take a look at something else. Chainlink, kind of the same thing, that same kind of fractal, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you kind of like trickle down a little bit, and then all of a sudden it just goes up. So that's what I'm expecting for Link, H-bar, you know, Litecoin. Look at Litecoin. Litecoin still has a beautiful structure, right? You have 3 down, okay? You have 3 waves up, and then you have 3 waves back down, right? And the third wave has 5 waves. Perfect. And then you have 1, 2, looks like 3, 4, 5, and now you're flagging out for a wave 2. So once that wave 2 finishes, we want to get back up here. And that's what I'm thinking. So again, remember Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin is expecting a B wave coming up fairly soon, I'll talk about Monero, maybe Filecoin. If Bitcoin is expecting a B wave soon, you know, because Bitcoin looks like this, right? So if we're expecting this for Bitcoin, followed by this, then what does the market do under that? Because you could say, well, we're going to get 3 waves up, and then we're going to have to come back down like that. And that could very, very well be the case. Or you could have this as your ABC, it finishes. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, it's done. And then as you get that B wave, that's when Filecoin, and not just Filecoin, but Link and everything else, starts to break out above this little zone in here, right, in the B wave. And then when you get the C wave, that's when we start to, you know, flag out up here, like a Wyckoff. This could be a Wyckoff where you come down, you come back up, and then now we're in the spring phase or whatever. So, and then, you know, you break out, you flag on top of the breakout zone like Wyckoff. Maybe some of you know the Wyckoff examples. I don't have them with me, but there we go. Just Google search it real quick. Something like this. But then you also have this one. Right? So you kind of have like this move up, this move down, and then a move up, and then you kind of cup around, and then you break out, and then you go. So we could be, you know, somewhere around in here. You know, you gotta move, and it's not the best looking one. It's not, it's not, you know, it doesn't have the look as a regular rectangle would. It's kind of more of a sloping one, but essentially, you know, you gotta move up, you gotta move down, come back up, and then circle around, and then go. I mean, that's kind of Wyckoff in a nutshell. Not saying necessarily it has to be that. But what's the alternative then, guys? Well, the alternative is that this is 1, 2, okay? And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 3. So 1, 2. Whoa, what happened there? So you have 1, 2. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 3. Look at that. And then what we have here is 1, 2, 3. That's actually a wave 4, and it's a flat. And that's why we have 5 off the low. You can say, oh, we have 5 waves off the low. Yeah, but what if it's part of a flat? And that's what makes TA very difficult, right? If it was so easy, everybody would be super rich, but it's not, right? Because there's variables to every chart, right? And that's what makes it challenging, because you can interpret it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's over. It's done. And now you have a 5-wave move off the low, and now we're going to pull back, and then we're going to go up. Or, you know what I mean, that's common, you know, it looks like that's the case. Or, but here's the thing. What if this is 1, 2, and then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is A, B, and C? Because remember, a C wave has 5 waves. So does an A wave. This has 5. This has 5 as well. So if that's a wave 4, then this could be like 1, 2, and we're falling down for 3, 4, and then 5 for 5. So 1, 2. There we go. But here's the thing. If that's the case, and we take out the low, then at least we know what it is. We know for sure what it is at this point, because, you know, it's not like we're going to have another wave and another wave. No. This thing's got to end, right? All waves come to an end. This, from here, from the very top all the way to the bottom, that's going to be one wave. And then you're going to set on a new wave. That wave is what we're waiting for. Now, does that wave come from a 5th wave down, or is the 5th wave here and we're going to continue up? So basically, those are the two ideas, right? Which one's it going to be? It doesn't really matter too much, because ultimately the goal is back up to there. So just kind of give us an example. All right, let's take a look at XRP here, because ultimately, right, when we look at all XRP, we're expecting a big move to the upside, right? This thing looks pretty unbelievably bullish. Now, you could interpret it bearish, and I'll explain that in a minute, but essentially, right, you're in this zone here, right? Kind of like how you were in this zone over here. So, you know, you're cupping into the resistance, you broke above the retrace level, you're flagging out. So eventually this thing should break to the upside. So we know that, right? You know, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout. Same thing here, rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways. Let's get the breakout. But if this, let's say it was completely bearish, you know, because we gotta be neutral with the bulls and the bears. So how could we interpret this bearishly? Well, you could say that this whole thing is 3 waves. So if this is 3 waves down and this is 3 waves up, what do you think's going to happen? 3 waves back down and then go up. And that would be devastating, because that would take at least a couple years, but it would create probably a 10-year base here. And if that happened, it would be just unbelievable. I don't even know how to. I just can't see it happening unless we have a complete recession, depression, whatever. Um, but I don't see it happening anyways because we don't have 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4. We still need 5. So if that could be C, right? So A, and then you come down for B, right? Or actually, yeah, it would be, and then you would need A, and then B, and then you go up for C. So, anyways, I digress. But let's get into some real business here. So when we look at the small time frames, obviously this is a flat, right? You're flagging out. You broke above the flag, and now you're kind of flagging out again. So, and you're kind of consolidating in all of these areas. If I take a zone, you can see how much confluence is in that zone right in here. Right? So as long as I say as long as we hold that zone, I think we're doing pretty good. Because ultimately, right, if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and then you have a 2, and then this could be 1, and no, it can't be because I think we took the low. No, we didn't. We didn't take the low. So it's still valid. What's valid? A 1, 2, 1, 2. So you have a 1, and then a 2, and then a 1, and then a 2. And that's very, very bullish. A 1, 2, 1, 2 is bullish because it sets you up for a big third. Or you have A, and then this is B, and then this is C. So you have 3 waves up, and you have, looks like 3 waves down, but I don't know if it's finished yet because it's not proportional completely. So if we look at just this correction, you can say, well, we have 3 waves down, and it's over. And then this is a 3-wave move up only, right? So then you would get 3 waves down and then maybe 5 back up, and then we'll see from there. But what would make more sense, I think, is that this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay? And then you would go up in 3, and then maybe kind of reaccumulate a little bit, and then go up from there. Because I expect it to be kind of choppy, chop to the downside, chop to the upside, before we really get out of there. Because ultimately, I'm believing that, right? So, if this whole thing is a wave 1 though, and this was like 3 down, and then you got to get 3 up, and then you got to get 5 back down to go up, and it becomes a really big one here, like a 1, 2, then that could be a situation as well. We're just going to have to take it day by day, candle by candle. So if we look even closely, XRP is a little bit challenging at the moment. Yeah, I only have 3 waves, and it looks like we're impulsing down. So, but it actually, I might go a little bit long here. Maybe not quite yet. It seems like maybe just for a 3-wave move and then cash out. Yeah, there's really nothing there. I mean, it just nothing there yet right now. So let's move on. Let's look at ADA. ADA looks even worse, I think, in terms of the small time frames. Remember that. I got to be careful what I say. When I say worse, I mean I'm talking about the small time frames. The larger time frames look immaculate. They look beautiful. Look at this. I mean, they look perfect. You have 3 down, you have 3 up, and you have 3 back down. It's perfect. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's perfect. You have a 1, and now it looks like so there's 2 things that's happening. Either this is 3, and then you're going to go up, you're going to flag out in a 2 and go up, or this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and that's your A, and then we're going to go up in a B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for C, and then go up. And actually, that probably might be better, and that would also explain Bitcoin's move, right? Because if Bitcoin, this is exactly what I'm expecting for Bitcoin, like literally the same. So that's why I'm thinking this is probably the main idea that I have right now. Which is what? Which is another move down, a little bit down. And then we're going to go up in 3. And then maybe that 3 is actually very big. Maybe it's like really big that takes us to the top. And it actually breaks the top. Then we come back down. And it's kind of like a flat, like a running flat. So you have A, B, C, and it's rectangular, right? And it's bullish, and it's in a base. So yeah, that's kind of how I would imagine it. Total 3, same thing. It looks like it needs to come down, and then maybe come back up, and then finish it out, and then go up. I mean, that's kind of how it seems to me. So all right, let's look at Monero, and then we'll look at Theta. So Monero, long-term, very bullish, right? Monero's structure looks insane. You know, I've been talking about Monero all throughout in here, and I've been explaining how insanely bullish it looks to me. Why? Because you have this powerful rally, a crash, a retrace, reaccumulation, and then you went sideways in reaccumulation. And then, you know, we expected it to break out in a monster move. Now, I don't think it's going to happen on its own. It's got to obviously go with the rest of the market. But you could see we've had like a 1-2, a 1-2, another 1-2 potentially. Or you could say that's a diag. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 diag, then you have that a flat. Remember, we were in this spot for, it seemed like months and months. And then we finally extended out of it. But, I mean, and now we're kind of pulling back. So it's all to be expected, right? This is all normal. So it seems like it's kind of flagging out. I would expect something like that. And then a big move up. So if we get something like that, that would be something I would look for. So, okay. So, you know, like even looking at something like Axelar, you know, you kind of have this 5-wave move up, and now you're going to... So basically everything looks like it needs to kind of revisit the low. All right, so I was looking for Theta. I could start with Theta Fuel. How about that? Same thing with Theta Fuel. It still looks really good, guys. It still looks pretty good to me, you know, because this is 3 waves up, 3 waves down, right? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, 3 up, 3 down, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. There's your B way up there. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm expecting. Again, it might take some time though, you know, because there's no guarantee that this is over. Like, for example, what if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we get 5? Just like we were looking at ICP. But here's the thing. If we got that, everybody would be so bearish and so bearish. Oh, the bull run's never going to happen. It's really time to throw in the towel now. But actually, that would be the bottom, right? So if we come slamming down into these lows, this would be the bottom. Wholeheartedly, that's my confidence. I would go extremely long at that point. But right now we're a little bit cautious because you got this move up and you're kind of coming down. is it going to make a higher low and then we go up from there? Or is it going to break down and then go up from there? If we break down, it's for sure going to go up, right? Because you have a solid 5 waves, at least up for 3. All right, so let's take a look here at Theta. And when we look at Theta, it's the same situation, right? So if Bitcoin has a nasty correction, it could plummet the altcoins down to new lows, guys. So that is definitely a concern, right? Because it's not as extended as I wanted it to be. Let's look closely, because when you look closely, all we have is 3. So we have 1, 2, 3. If this turned into 4 and 5, then I would be like, okay, let's flag out and let's keep going. But since we only have 3, it limits our options on how to escape out of there. For example, you can have 3 up, and then this could come down at 3 down, and then you would go up in 5. Right? So that's kind of your only option here. Or if this is a 1, 2, 1, and then you have another 2 here, right? But 2 could end a little bit lower. Why? Because if you look at this, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if we come down and get 5. So you have 3 down, 3 up, and then you have 5 back down without taking out this low. So that would be 1, 2, 1, and then 2 without taking the low. And then from there, right, you would expect a move back up from there, right? Otherwise, you know, we could have one more wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which would bring us, let's see, where would it bring you to? Just for fun here, if I use this, let's just see. Yeah, see, I'm not really, let me take this off log here. Yeah, it's not going to give me an accurate reading, but I would say we got to give it time. We got to see, because I really want to see it break the low, and then I want to see 3 up, and then I want to see 5 down, and then go up. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. That's what I would like to see. It doesn't mean that's what's coming. So, but here's the thing. Again, if we do break the low, right? So we had like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you slam the low, but then you quickly came back up. So if this is a slam down to the low, then I would definitely go long somewhere, you know, somewhere within that 47 to 50 cent area. I mean, it also, I mean, you have this low right here. We also might have to come back down to 55 cents, you know, and even maybe a little bit lower than that. Let me just put 2 of them here, right? So like that 50 to 55 cent level, if this is a 4th wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I thought it wasn't a 5th wave. And you could say, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's the way I look at it, right? That's the way I still believe. But again, since we only have 3, not 5, there's always a chance that you have to come and take the low, which would be what? It would be from where we are right now, it would be another maybe 20 to 30% drop. I don't even think it would be that much. I think maybe like 15 to 20%. So, because when you look at Bitcoin, or let's take a look at SHIB for a minute. Yeah, see, this to me is 1, 2, 3. See, this is too big of a wave here. I mean, I guess it could be a fourth wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. I guess so. It's just a little big. But yeah, hopefully these levels hold in here. If they don't, then 1, 2, 3, I would draw a line right there, right? Maybe we tag that line and then have that bullish divergence play out. So another thing you got to keep an eye on is like the alt pairs, like XRP versus Bitcoin, starting to look really, really good here. I mean, you can see 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5. So you have 3 down, you have 3 up, and then you have 5 back down. So to me, it's a complete move. So yeah, I had expected to start leveling out here. So yeah, we'll see. We'll check in at some point. But anyways, just real quick on the super small time frames, there's really nothing there. I mean, at first it was looking all right. You know, you had this move up, but essentially we only have 3, right? We have 3 up, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 down. So if this comes back up in 3, and then comes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another 5 wave move down, that could be an ABC. So you have 3 waves up, 3 waves down, and then let's see if we get that 5th wave up. But we got plenty of time, so just have to track it from now till then. So I don't think there's anything else. There's nothing that sticks out. You know, nothing too crazy. Doge is down pretty big, 5%. Whoa, okay, so Doge actually, Doge took the low pretty nicely. So yeah, see, it's just, you know, I don't like saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because it looks like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then this looks like it could be A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C. So it could be finished. Dogecoin could be just about finished for its third 1, 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2. This could be another 1 and 2. Because you have 3 down, 3 up, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So that's an A, B, C. It's an expanded flat, right? So if you look at this move in particular, once this wave finishes, that could be a decent little long, potentially, for a little bounce back to the upside, right? Otherwise, what you have is 3 up, 3 down, and then you have 5 up, which is a flat. And now this is just going to rock down and break the low. And then from there, that's the low. And then we continue in the retrace level. But so it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. But the wave 4 is just so big. So I guess it's not too big. If I take a line from here to there, from here to there, I guess it's not too much of a difference, but you know, it is what it is. So if we had a move back down that took the low out before, you know, playing around a little bit before then going back up here, right? Versus coming here, coming down, and then shooting back up to there. So which one's it gonna be? You know, we have to track the small time frames and see. But anyways, that'll do it for this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Remember, this is not financial advice. I could be totally dead wrong on all my ideas. Always know that. This is just for educational and entertainment purposes only. You know, we're just trying to figure things out. That's all it is. You know, we're all in the same boat. We all want to get wealthy and exchanging ideas is the best way, in my opinion, to conquer the market in a way where we can do good. So anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.